Hey, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video, and today I want to give you a big Megaton roundup of all the most important information that has been doing the rounds lately. Gearbox continue to drop little teasers here and there. There are codes hidden in the official artwork for the game. Randy Pitchford has been tweeting, talking about things like map size and clearing up some confusion surrounding microtransactions, and there have even been some new gameplay snippets from a few social media adverts that show things like new elements and more split screen. So in today's video, I'm going to quickly go over all of that in case you've missed any of that lately. So if you do enjoy this, you do find it helpful, then a like would be super appreciated. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and also don't forget to enter our giveaway. We're actually running a giveaway with the guys over at Nerd or Die at the moment for a content creator kit that includes everything you need to get started if you want to make content yourself. It's got a console, a mic, a webcam, a capture card, a headset, basically everything you see on screen. So if you want to get involved in that, click the link in the description box down below. Now, let's get started by turning our attention to the very cool official artwork for the game. You've seen this picture before, it's on the box, it's basically everywhere right now. However, the other day, Gearbox released a high-resolution version of this, and they specifically said that you should probably look at it closely because there's quite a lot of stuff hidden. Now, there's a lot of stuff in here, and I want to give a massive shout out to the Borderlands community. They've done some incredible work finding all of this stuff. I'll link a Reddit post down below. Shout out to Mad Haunter for pulling this all together, but there are lots of different things hidden here. Some of these are pretty vague and are admittedly food for thought when it comes to the speculation front, and some of them of course lead to codes that you can physically redeem in-game. To go over just a few of them, there's actually Morse code hidden on either side of the image, to the left and to the right, and these, when decoded, translate into who is the destroyer, and also where is the first Vault Hunter, so make of that what you will. There is also a moon and a key emoji either side of the ship that is just above the Borderlands logo. I called this out before when we were kind of speculating that, you know, it obviously hinted at going to different locations, and this probably indicates that we'll be finding a vault key on a moon. There's also a couple of different cipher keys, which are pretty crazy. Again, shout out to the community for working this one out, but they basically translate into we don't speak of Sanctuary 2 and find the machine. On the Sanctuary 2 front, not entirely sure what that means right now, but it does sound pretty ominous, and perhaps that hints into the kind of story direction leading into the next game. But moving on from there, the one that you guys are really going to care about is, of course, there is also a hidden shift key in this image. If you look at all the golden weapons, there are parts of the shift key all across the weapons, and if you piece it all together, you get the code that you see on screen right now, which is 5B, 3BJ, XZWFW, T3KRZ, JBJTB, 6WST9. If you redeem that in-game, you will get the Maya Community Day skin and 5 gold keys. So for those of you guys that are playing right now, that is of course the one you're going to care about the most. However, if we then move on from there, speaking about the topic of microtransactions, I appreciate in gaming these days it kind of tends to be one of those big questions basically anytime a game releases, and the same thing was said for Borderlands 3, especially when you look at the deluxe editions, and it specifically details that it has XP and loot drop boost mods. So people then started to worry that this might mean that they're going to start selling these and it's basically going to be riddled with microtransactions. Well, for those of you worried about that, Randy Pitchford has very clearly said that is not going to be the case. He has said that there will be microtransactions, but they will be cosmetic, and when it comes to this stuff, they have no intention of selling any kind of predatory power boosts or anything like that. He actually said that they are not making Borderlands 3 to quote-unquote sell that garbage. But following on from that, PC Gamer did actually reach out to Gearbox to try and get an official statement on that, and they did reply with the following comment. They said, while Borderlands 3 is not a competitive game where boosts could lead to direct player advantages and be considered a competitive concern, we still take balance of the progression and loot systems in the game very seriously. They then went on to say that we are still fine-tuning these systems in Borderlands 3 and the benefits the boost in the Deluxe, Super Deluxe and Collector's Editions will provide, but at this stage we can confirm that the loot and XP boost will be both level capped and tied to specific pieces of gear, similar to boosts in past Borderlands games. The intent is to give those players an initial boost and not something that permeates the entire Borderlands 3 experience indefinitely. Now, for those of you guys that maybe haven't played previous games, to kind of go back, in Borderlands 2, there were XP and boost mods like the item called Moxie's Endowment and the Vault Hunter's Relic. They were items that you could equip that would increase your XP gains when you killed enemies, or increase your chances of finding rare loot by 5%, but it's worth calling out in this situation that they did say these items will be level capped and they'll be tied to specific items, so it is literally a case of you equip them at the beginning of the game and perhaps it gives you that initial boost just to kind of kickstart your adventure, and then once you go beyond that and you start getting the new loot, you will very quickly replace those items, so fear not, they will not be something that will ruin the end game experience. So beyond that point, of course, we'll have to kind of wait and see how they do everything outside of that, but it is fair to say they will not be ruining the game with loot boxes and microtransactions that will force you to buy things or give you any kind of advantage. So for those of you guys that had that as a concern, hopefully that puts your mind at rest. Now, following on from there, just a comment on map size. Somebody actually asked on Twitter. Randy Pitchford has been responding to a lot of questions from community members, and one of them was, can you tell us the map size for Borderlands 3 and how will it compare to other games in the series? To which he replied, locations all vary. Keep in mind that in Borderlands 3 you will be visiting different planets. But he did say locations all vary. Some are bigger than past averages, some are smaller. Overall, the game is a lot bigger than past games. So it's fair to say if you're going to compare that with other games where you visit multiple locations, some of them you go to, if they're like the main location you visit, then they are pretty sizable. But then sometimes if you have those smaller planets, you know, if you look at like Mass Effect, when you kind of visit some of the smaller locations, they might just be, you drop down there, you do a few small things and then you move on. So, you know, it's not going to be one of those things where every single planet is bigger than the previous maps, but combined, you will of course have plenty more areas to explore. And then finally, to round it all out, there have been some social media adverts going around. Largely speaking, these go out on Instagram and on Twitter, but some of them do also play before YouTube videos. I have not been lucky enough to actually see this myself on YouTube ads. However, shout out to the old one from the Borderlands 3 subreddit. He actually took some screenshots from the YouTube ad and he put them into an Imgur album. So again, I'll link his Reddit post in the description box down below. But going through these, there are a few interesting things worth calling out. Of course, the screenshots show, you know, more looks at split screen, which we've seen before. But it's also worth calling out that one thing it does highlight is over here on the right hand side you can see a new element called radiation. This is new for Borderlands 3 and it's also cool how it clearly displays that element on screen when you factor in that, you know, weapons like Maliwan weapons have the ability to switch elements, so being able to see that actively on screen is going to be useful. And it's also worth calling out, this is a Maliwan shotgun, and in Borderlands 2 Maliwan actively stopped producing shotguns, so it's kind of cool to see them back, so that's something else to look forward to. But for the time being, that's pretty much it. That's a quick roundup of some of the stuff you may have missed in the recent drops, teases, all that stuff like that. So as always, if you guys want to stay bang up to date with Borderlands, be sure to keep it locked. And also, don't forget, we are incredibly close to the gameplay reveal, and I will be going out there, so I'll have plenty of awesome information, plenty of awesome footage to share with you guys. So if you want to get a first look at Borderlands gameplay, keep it locked. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to check out some more awesome stuff from us here at Arekkz Gaming, then you should definitely try to catch 269 and Paradise Central streaming 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. They play a wide range of games, and what's more, we also have the end game store. By watching their streams, you earn currency, and you can redeem that currency on the endgame store for really cool prizes. Those can range from things like games, comics, and figures, all the way up to controllers, capture cards, and even consoles. So definitely drop by and become part of the community. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you're subscribed and be sure to click on that little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next upload. You can watch more videos by clicking on the options here. But once again, thanks very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.